Hi, I'm Ray. Ray Stans. Ray's Occult Books, 33 St. Mark Place, New York City. Come on down for your best of all occult book needs. And if you happen to have any paranormal events, who you got to call? This episode is sponsored by Loki, and Loki is appearing in Connecticut at doing a campaign stop on April 30th, which is probably a day or two after this is posted, and we'll be back after this post. Hi, I'm Loki, and I'm burdened with glorious purpose to entertain you. Come see my campaign stop in Pomfret, Connecticut at Grill 37 at A Quiet Corner, Sci-Fi and Comic Experience on April 30th. I've always had a fascination with cubes. My father, Odin, used to hide the cubes all over the castle. I would find the cube and then free it from whatever way my father had imprisoned it. This stop is part of my Put Our Real Villain in the White House tour. Hi, I'm Loki, and I paid for this message. Stop that. Hi, I'm back. Today's guest is Ashley of Ashley Dark Phoenix Cosplay, a friend and fellow performer and cosplayer, and here she is.
Hi.
Looking kind of spooky today.
Thank you.
And I should know. Okay, it likes you. Okay. I'm going to take this off my head because it hurts like hell. So that's not the way my hair goes. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Long time no talk to.
Yeah.
Last night. I did see you at several at Wicked Comic Con, and
Yes.
I think I saw you somewhere else before that.
I think so. The last few years have really blended together, though. So
It's the same day. Seriously, same day. So
Yeah.
welcome to the show. I asked you to be my second guest.
Yeah, I was a little nervous at the
58
time.
episodes to respond
Yeah.
affirmatively. But we're glad you did. And
Glad I came.
I know you from my magic shows. A few years ago, you were Bellatrix at my show at Bangor Comic Con. And this outfit, have you ever worn that again? Or you wear that around the house? Or do you wear that to work?
I haven't really had a chance with the last few years. Hasn't been a lot of opportunities.
And you're also Ashley the Auror in a show that is the complete 1-hour show is on this channel under the Fantastic Magic of Potter at live at the Orpheum Theater in Foxborough, Mass. From a few years ago, about 6 months before all the crap happened.
I remember I was on break a lot during that, I think.
Yes. Bellatrix happened to the evil villain, Bellatrix Lestrange, showed up on your break.
I missed her. I don't
We
know what
had
happened.
you in the audience actually checking people as they came in. And I really liked that. I thought that was a great thing. And but you did finally take her away once or twice.
Yeah, she got away one time, I think, while I was on break again. Those union breaks,
And as I told you yesterday, the only reason I didn't have you do Bellatrix again is just you're too nice. The other two women have had you
I'll
Bellatrix.
take that.
Yeah, the other two women that have Bellatrix. One is the nicest woman in the world. It's a cat, Katarina, the nicest person in the world. But when she puts on that black dress,
Mm.
And she could just kill with a look. If
Yeah,
I
her
walk in one
looks.
of her lines or something, she gives me a look on stage that I'm dead. And Catherine, the other one, who has been a guest on the show, she does Queenie, and she's done Queenie and Bellatrix in some shows a few years ago, and she's probably as crazy as I am. So,
oh yes.
Okay, that's actually the Aura. They were at. I think you were playing Lily Potter in that show in Worcester.
Yes, I was.
Yes, which meant I cut you in half.
Mostly got put back together. Little duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape sells everything. And here's both of us wandering around Bangor Comic Con.
Yes, scaring children.
Some of the celebrities were scaring me at that show. If you remember what I'm talking about, the secretary lady from Twin Peaks, the show secretary that was scaring. She was telling me that she'd been talking to my dog using telepathy the whole show. So I was kind of my daughter was kind of scared of her show. But in any case, that was a long way. Bangor was a long way. I think I just wish I had more to do there. I just had like one show a day, and then I was wandering around with you in different costumes all day. And the last few years have been in a mall, and I didn't even bother trying to get booked there. But they're expanding to Portland. Portland's only 2 hours, so maybe I'll try to get booked there in their Portland show. Portland is not. You're going to be in that area.
Year.
You're going to be in this area like this weekend, right? You're going to be at the Portland.
Yeah, I'm going to be up at Thompson Point Saturday. But then I'm going to PortCon in June, the end of June. It's 3 days.
So tell me about the origin story, the Ashley origin story of cosplay.
Well, it's something I'd always like to do. Always like to dress up into characters. But when I was younger, I was really, really shy, so never really did it. Took me getting much
now.
older. I'm getting there.
It did take you 8 episodes to thaw out.
Yeah, I've had some friends that have helped get me out of my shell too. Friends I've met through the cosplay community. Found it's very welcoming.
One of them to be a guest too. Let's see if we get her on.
Yeah, one of them. One of them. Yeah, so a lot of my friends have helped me, given me tips. I'm trying to get better at making some of my own stuff because bought costumes sometimes is great, but it doesn't always fit the best, or it doesn't stand out. Doesn't have that uniqueness that I like.
Yeah, I ironed this on yesterday. Does that make me a seamstress now? If I iron this on my
absolutely. Absolutely.
I had a Velcro patch that said Igor because I had this suit when it was Countess and Igor. So Cosplay Dad, who has to appear in every show, told me once that I looked a lot like he liked my Ghostbusters because I reminded him of Dan Aykroyd. So I said okay, and I bought the appropriate patch.
Yeah.
And now it's a regular Ray Stans Ghostbuster.
Very nice.
So go ahead. I interrupted you.
Oh, no worries. So I really started with, store-bought stuff, but then I've gotten more and more into finding items and putting them together to make a good cosplay. And I've just recently, this past weekend at PAX, did one that I'd partially made and combined it. My Trubbish, which is a Pokemon, trash bag Pokemon. Yeah. That one was really fun.
Because it's a garbage Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I was trash all weekend.
I wasn't making fun of you that it was garbage. It literally is garbage.
I was literally trash. And people loved it. I started small with it. I added the the face to the mask that I wore and made the sleeves, but and then added them onto a dress I found, which I then made some modifications to. So I'd like to eventually be able to make my own stuff completely, but I'm slowly learning new things as I go, learning things from different people.
Can you sew? I can't.
I'm getting better. The sleeves for my Trubbish I completely sewed I got fabric at a Joann's, cut stuff out, sewed it together, sewed it onto the dress. So getting better with it. I'm still learning. So it takes time and practice. So getting there slowly.
Well, good. I've always been a find the stuff type person.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that. It works. That's most of my cosplays.
Or ordering it. Yeah. Because I've done that a lot. In fact, I ordered one today. Yeah. For that thing I was telling you about last night.
Yes.
I had it custom ordered today. So,
like these ears I bought off of a friend who is a cosplayer and also makes her own products. I added this on, and I mean, I bought like this piece separately, the dress, and then I added some stuff onto the dress too. But kind of piecing stuff together, I find it really works, and sometimes it makes a really good cosplay.
Good. So what was your first cosplay?
My first, I want to say it was years ago when I was younger, did it once and then didn't do it for years again. But it was a character from the movie Sucker Punch.
Okay.
But after that, I think one of the girls. And I think after that, my first one, once I really started getting into it, was Spider-Gwen.
Okay. No, I saw you in that outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the first ones I got, and just as
I actually knew you as I knew of you as a person that came to my shows at GranaCon before I actually met you.
Yeah, actually, I also did Alice that first show too, which I think I've shared with you. That was one of my first ones too. That and Spider-Gwen the same weekend.
Was there a princess there too? A Disney princess, I remember.
I did do a Belle at one point. Okay, I think that was at a Super Mega Fest, which was not the best venue for that because those hallways, at least down on the lower floor where your show was, very tight, and a ball gown did not give much room to maneuver around.
I have a friend who has the Belle skirt that has hoops under it.
That's what mine had. I had a hoop skirt underneath. It was not the best one for that venue.
It's a walking hazard.
Yeah.
So, yes, because I saw you at Megafest as well.
Yes.
Because I've done like 5 Super Megafest, 5 GranaCons. Multiple shows, all kinds of different stuff. We'll see if I ever do those again. Maybe GranaCon this year. I'll have to find out. Super Megafest last year passed, so
they have a bigger venue, bigger venue this year, so you might luck out there.
Well, I don't like that hotel.
Okay. I've never been to that one.
That one's near my house, actually.
Okay.
It's not too far. It's about the same distance as GranaCon from my house.
Oh, okay.
That's where now the Anime Con is now.
Pop Cult, maybe.
I thought. Well, those are 2 separate things. Another Anime Con is one, and Anime Pop Cult is a different one.
Yeah, there's so many. I can't.
You do some anime.
Yes, I've done at least one character, Shinobu from Demon Slayer. Yes, that one right there.
Ragdoll Murderer, who was on the show recently, and all her friends that I've met recently.
I met her this weekend at PAX. Sweetheart.
our
absolute sweetheart. She
big
was
time
dressed.
into this series and have a lot of
Yeah.
characters. Even though she was Tiny Tina at that
Yes.
at
At
the
PAX, that's what she was wearing, was her Tiny
yeah.
Tina. It's great.
For a while there, I couldn't go anywhere without running into her. So
Yeah.
I ran into her at Troy City Comic Con. She was on video. I ran into her at New England Comic Con. I ran into her at Retro Expo. Well, actually, I think it's more just saw her across the hallway.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of busy doing shows. Some of them I was doing shows and doing videos. Some was just doing videos. So this weekend I'm doing both.
Yeah. Nice.
So what about some of the other cosplays we have?
So there, there's
that.
Oh,
I know
that one. That's the actually Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, X-Men character.
Now, obviously, you must like that because you've included that into your cosplay name.
I have. I like the Phoenix in general. It's my favorite mythological creature. So, and it's a well-known, obviously, pop culture figure. I like that character.
It's a hot
Red
bird.
Hair.
That's a bad
flame bird. You know, die, come, you're reborn out from the ashes and via flame.
Yeah.
And that's obviously Alice. She's daydreaming. That was one of my first cosplays. That was at Granite State 2017 or 18. I don't remember the years that well.
It was one of those years. I was there doing shows from 16 on up to last year. So I was there. But I didn't remember that one. I remembered Belle and I remembered the Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, that was the same as Spider-Gwen at that con.
Okay.
That was one of my first cons that I actually went to dressed up. Because I'd worked a con before. I'd worked like Fan Expo. I think the last year you did it. I was working for them, but I wasn't cosplaying.
I only did that one year. I only did Fan Expo. I think 2018.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That really is a logistical nightmare for someone who was doing 3 shows on the 3rd floor and 2 shows on the 2nd floor, and we didn't have a room or anything that was dedicated to us.
Yeah, just moving your equipment, especially the TARDIS.
Well, the TARDIS stayed where it was.
Okay.
The TARDIS and several of the big things stayed in the room, but we can only get in that room between shows.
Yeah.
So we walked like 25,000 steps that weekend. I
can imagine.
I had like 8 people. You were busy. Catherine was in a wheelchair because that was the year she was hurt.
Yeah.
So I had. Did you ever meet Jennifer?
I might have.
Short girl. She was the Beast. She was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. I think I have met her. Yes.
One year, one of her friends was a sexy Belle, was a featured cosplayer, and she was dressed as a sexy Beast. And I had her in the show as the Beast one year, and she did a little Love Good. I had her in Boston, and she has helped at a GraniteCon before. But so you teased this the other day. I didn't want to hear about it. Because what's your favorite story about something that happened while you're in cosplay?
Well, it's a kind of a funny story.
Well, you're not your favorite, but a funny story.
Was at PAX, was hanging out with one of my trash friends. We were trash that day.
Yes, you and all the people.
Picture of
on April 1st, you all posted different pictures of
us
the
in trash bags with googly eyes. It's trubbish, and we made comments that we were, wanted to show off these cosplays that we've worked so hard on. And they were just trash bags with googly eyes. And then the next day, we obviously debuted our real ones, which a bunch of us also wore to PAX this past weekend. 2 of us happened to be getting food And we got approached by one of the major gaming companies that was there, and they wanted to buy us our lunch because they loved our cosplays and wanted to get video of us for their TikTok getting our food, because they were doing like a life in the day thing while they were there.
Cosplayers getting food. Gee,
Yep,
I wonder how many views that got.
I was like, oh, okay. So we got some nice
Hey, it's
complimentary
free
grilled
lunch,
cheese
though. I mean, what
sandwiches.
the hell?
Yeah.
Free food always tastes better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who are you with?
I was with my friend Mink the Satyr.
Okay.
The two of us.
Mink. Okay.
Yes. Everyone knows who she is.
Yeah. She her
we were absolute trash.
Her full how to cosplay panel was on this channel from New England Comic Con. Her and Legend of Larcy and is it Red Barn Crafting?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's one of the it gets a lot of views. The panel they did at New England Comic Con. So
yeah, it was really good.
Do you get any bad stories?
Just occasionally you post stuff and get a lot of spam stuff like, hey, increase your this, or you get weird people reaching out and you're like,
well, that's the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that mostly it's just weird stuff from the internet.
You've been to the internet, actually.
Yeah. I mean, most people at cons are really nice from my experience. They come up, maybe want to get a picture, let you know they like your cosplay. I can't say at a con I've ever really had a bad
costume
experience.
No bad costume.
I've had some costumes that have just not worked. They've started to fall apart, halfway through the con. Learned really quick once I started making stuff, hot glue on a hot day. Heats up and stuff starts to unstick.
There's plenty of duct tape and a hot glue gun in my boxes that go with me to do performing at cons and cosplaying.
Yeah, that hot glue, once it gets hot, you get a 90-degree day at a con, and all of a sudden,
that's right,
it starts getting soft and things start falling off.
Melting.
Yeah, literally.
What's your favorite cons to go to?
I mostly like smaller cons, like Granite Con, Port Con.
You were just at PAX last week, and it hardly gets big.
I was, but
and that's the first year.
Is an exception.
That's the first year in a few years I wasn't there with you.
Yeah. PAX is always an exception for me, just because I really enjoy the video game stuff too. The nerd in me just loves the environment. And I mean, me and most of the group of us that were mostly just walking around for different people, different days, we just kind of, walked around, had fun. We're silly, we, myself and Mink again were dressed as Cubone, a Pokemon who wears the skull of his dead mother on Sunday. And for fun, we walked up.
I can't find that picture here, so I will drop it in.
Yeah.
In the video.
Yeah, and it's basically, where's the skull of his dead mother? So we went around asking everyone, have you seen our mom? We're looking for her. Have you seen our mom? And people were like, no, we haven't.
Well, I always do something. I mean, as this guy, I'd walk around saying, have you seen any ghosts? Or a big green ghost that looks like Belushi, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
because they say Slimer kind of supposed to look like John Belushi.
I could see that.
Because he was supposed to be in the Ghostbusters movie, but he of course died.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah,
it's an interesting fact.
It was written for him and Dan.
Oh,
which makes sense because they did a bunch of stuff together and stuff.
Yeah, they always work great together.
One of my heroes, even though he was, I guess, really bad alcoholic and druggy
Mm-hmm.
was John Belushi. But the
Mm-hmm.
people who live life so large usually have short fuses.
Yeah.
Um, Several other people that were on Saturday Night Live, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
Chris
guy's name?
Farley.
Chris Capaldi, that was his name.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep.
Uh, what's your dream cosplay?
Oh gosh. I would say I don't know if I have one that's like a dream character to do. Although one I can think of, it definitely would be something I made myself. But let me write over for something here. There's a Pokemon, more Peko.
You've been hanging around with me too long.
I love this Pokemon. He's got 2 modes. This is his full belly mode, and then he has a hangry mode. And I'd love to do something where I could easily change it depending if which mood I want to represent to make it, something. It'd be something fun.
You're definitely becoming a Mink disciple. Mink Desader has 4,453 Pokemon cosplays.
She's got a few.
Am I wrong? I'm exaggerating slightly, but not
she's
quite.
She's slowly working on the original 151. That one's not one of the 151. So
has she literally got like 100?
She's she hasn't quite. I don't think she's hit 100 yet, but she's done a lot. It seems that way sometimes.
She just had another one last Friday, didn't she?
She had a new. Trubbish was her newest one.
Oh, she's one after that. She did one after that, even.
Mm-hmm.
She did another one after that. Oh, maybe it was this week then. It was this week and not last week.
You might be thinking of her Growlithe. She actually made that before Trubbish.
Okay, but she introduced it this week. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see a little bit more of Mink in the near future. I've asked. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
When she's a very busy person.
Oh yes. She's actually streaming as a bottle of juice as we speak.
I don't get the reference.
She's a VTuber, and her one of her VTube models is her followers can transform her into like a bottle of what is based off of Trader Joe's Honeycrisp apple cider, and she's got a face on it. It's got her pigtails. Her hedgehogs turn into little apples. It's actually quite comical.
Okay. That's what I get for missing her panel at PAX.
Oh, yes. It was recorded, though.
Okay. Well, I think FanX does that on most panels there.
Mm-hmm.
Not mine, not my show when it was there, but I think most panels.
Yeah.
What did you? I had you do a lot of different things in my shows.
Yes. Lots of different
Which character do you like? Which character did you like better?
I don't know. I think I kind of had fun with Ashley the Auror.
Yeah, we just created that for you. And
it was just kind of on the spot, last minute, like, let's do this. And I'm like, and I know I can be on a union break, because I'm sure the ministry's got rules.
It's being a great gag to the show. And
Yeah.
I did have you on stage, and I had you do magic on stage.
Yeah.
Making bottles of Butterbeer appear.
Yes, the Butterbeer, yes.
Yeah, and we had you do Bellatrix Lestrange, Ashley the Auror, and you were Lily Potter. Harry's mother, and the Worcester shows. Did we have you there 2 years or 1 year?
I think we just did the Worcester 1 year.
I had an actual Lily play Lily the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And that I block out that whole time period. But I missed that was a fun show that we did 3 shows in one day at the to the Wigan Wizards and Witches School at the old Armory. It was an Armory museum in Worcester, Massachusetts. And that was a fun, 6 shows I did. They got so popular that they didn't want our show anymore because they started selling timed entry.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things I offer is give people a reason to stay at your event longer. They didn't want people to stay at their event longer. They wanted people to leave so they could get another crop of people to pay money
to come in. Then we want you to leave so more people can come in.
Yes. So that went that way, but they haven't had it in the last 2 years anyway. So
yeah, a lot of things didn't happen in the last few years.
Yes, it did. I almost didn't happen in the last few years. To be honest, I came close to dying 2.5 years ago. So it didn't take death. It didn't take. So I go on. My dream cosplay would be Johnny Depp's character in the 2 first Fantastic Beasts movie.
Oh, that would be nice.
I would want to be Grindelwald. I don't know if I could pull it off with the hair, the eyes, but I love that character. And he's a pretty freaking evil character. I just saw Fantastic Beasts 3. Fantastic Beasts 3 just came out. And Grindelwald was nowhere near the level of evil crazy he was in the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
I think it was a mistake to take Johnny out of the show. And I don't think we're going to get another Fantastic Beasts movie. I think that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's it.
Well, it was supposed to be like a 5-episode series, and they pretty much ended it after the movie. I mean, everything is tied up neatly and tidy, and Grindelwald is not a threat.
And then JK there's kind of gone off the deep end herself.
and a certain couple gets married. And one character wasn't in the movie very much, and it was the one character that spoke out, the one actor that spoke out against JK's views. And she
not
was
too shocking.
So I'm sure she was contracted to be in the movie, so she had to be in the movie. But she was just in it a little bit at the beginning and the end. So that's sad for me because Newt is one of my main guys, and I've spent a long time being Newt's commander. I like being Newt's commander. I react to him well. It seems that we have the same affinities and capabilities toward women, being none. No, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. I'm also not kidding, though. He is like the artistic wizard, and especially with women, and I think I've done that role in real life. But I'm getting better. I have a girlfriend now. It's pretty amazing. It's hell is frozen over. What? What else do we have here? Oh, that's you.
Oh, that's the one I'm wearing right there. It's a shiny Umbreon. Yes. My shiny Umbreon. I love this one. This is the dress I'm wearing right now. The tail, which you can't really see in this picture, and the ears a friend of mine made. And I got the dress and the blue piece. I bought those, and then I added the circles, which are Umbreon symbols, to the dress, to the sleeves.
Okay.
Just to personalize it, really give it what I was looking for. And obviously, it's a nighttime dark Pokemon, so
I really like
this. Right there. Cruella,
I really like that close-up photo. The close-up photo I put on the teaser. I thought when you had the little bit black mask on your face.
Yeah.
just like the movie. I really like that. Did you make that, or did you get that, or
I bought it was actually it was a filter, but it looks like a mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I did like the Cruella movie. I finally saw it not too long ago, and I did think it was okay, but
I thought it had some nice twists and kind of really avoided, making coats out of real dogs, because
yes, it's like
that's no fun.
I liked it, but they're supposed to be doing another one, and how do they get a wreck on it so she's not an evil person?
I'm guessing it's gonna go similar to the Maleficent movies, where it's really just a different point of view on the same story type of thing, where maybe the story was exaggerated. That's kind of what they tried to do, I feel, with Maleficent, to make it sound like, well, this is her actual story, not the one that's told from the opposing viewpoint and is exaggerated.
Well, she was quite friendly with Dalmatians at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And after a brief interruption, which you didn't see, we've got the two pictures that we wanted to mention. First, she mentioned Cubone before. You and Make at one point were both Cubone, looking for your mother.
Yeah, we were looking for our mom. Never found her at PAX, though I did enjoy, all the people that came up wanted our pictures, especially the kids. I love making people smile, so.
Well, if I can't make people smile, I like to make people cringe and run away.
I mean, we did a little of that too with that one. It was definitely silly. Some people were like, really got into it and were like, no, I haven't, and would like turn around. It was kind of funny.
It's been 10 months that brought Pallbearer out, and I'm going to Monster Expo on Sunday as Pallbearer. So that should be fun. That is going to be May 1st in Sea Haven, Mass.
Very nice.
Monster Expo.
And there I am as trash. Literal trash. Trashiest Pokemon you can find.
Now, are you the one with the colored arm or the green bag?
I'm got the colored arm and the green bag. The dress is the green bag.
I'm kidding. I was saying, is this you right here, or is this you?
I don't know. It is hard to tell in this picture.
It is. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, those sleeves were something that one of the first things I really
is the blue screen. This blue screen.
Yeah, I did blue screen.
It's very nice. One. It's done well. You are and have been a photographer.
Yes. I don't do it as much these days, but I like having a little more fun in the cosplays at cons,
you seem to
especially.
Switch sides of the screen.
I've been having more fun with the cosplays than lugging the camera equipment around at a con. So it's just been more relaxing. I mean, I'm always fine with doing photos, but I'd rather not do them at a con, just because I'd rather just have fun.
Yeah,
I like that more.
I went around and did cosplay, and then I changed and went in normal costume when I do interviews at an event. And that's a whole skill I've been picking up the few times I've done it. 3 or 4 times I've done it. That is a thing. People like it. It gets lots of views.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I want to do it.
Yeah, you get a lot of people to talk to, different opinions. I think you caught me off guard the time you got me, but
you were hiding behind a door.
Yes, I was. You had me cornered.
Yes, I did. I had you on camera. So you could see her in the. Were you Cubone that day?
Yes, I was.
You could see her for Cubone in the cosplayers of Wicked Comic-Con video here.
Not my best work on camera.
You'd be surprised. Seriously. Um, so what else do you like about cosplay?
I really like just having fun with it, getting to be different characters. I want to broaden myself a little more. I think I'd love to get into some like charity stuff with it too, but slowly getting more comfortable with it and slowly gonna start expanding what I do with it. Just because I like putting a smile on people's faces. That's to me more joyful than having like followers or anything like that.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't care about numbers. I just want to have fun with it, do something I enjoy, and if I can help put a smile on people's face, great, even better. So many people just I was more happy that people enjoyed my cosplays and liked the characters and wanted to get a picture with us than a picture of us. Like, somebody wants to get in the picture with me, I like that more than they just want my picture.
Yeah.
I can relate more to them.
Somebody's Instagram today, and their line next to it was, if you don't like yourself, be other people.
I can feel that, yeah. I mean,
I felt
I
that
try to
myself.
like myself, but I also enjoy getting into character, getting into a role, becoming something different. It's always been something that's been fun to me, that I've enjoyed, and something even as a kid I could do by myself. I can come up with whole backstories for myself and a story and just play it out in my head sometimes. And why not play it out in costume if I can?
Excuse me, it's past my bedtime. No, do you ever get imposter syndrome?
I try not to. I mean, I just try to enjoy it more than anything.
A little bit. I think I've seen that from you.
Maybe a little, but sometimes
You're
I do
getting
get in
better.
my head. We all do.
You're getting better at it. You were on
Yeah.
the show. I know that I felt that way for I felt that way for my entire cosplay experience.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of older people cosplaying. Now I don't by older I don't mean as a insult, but somebody like Cosplay Dad, Matches Malone, Kepra.
I think we're seeing more and more though now. I've started to see more. I saw a lot of older cosplayers, for instance, at PAX this weekend,
Which is amazing because it's a game convention, and usually game convention is more of the young people's con.
There weren't. I thought the crowds were a lot smaller. It made meeting people and just seeing people and talking to people
like
a little easier.
Like Fan Expo last year was smaller than it's been years.
So I thought that was very helpful. I got to meet a lot of new, interesting people that I probably wouldn't have met if this was PAX before the pandemic.
And the same interesting people.
Yeah, I mean, some of the people I knew, but others were completely new that I'd never met before, but definitely are going to be friends going forward.
I'm looking forward to this weekend. As we saw in that ad, I'm doing the Loki show in Connecticut at a Quiet Corner Sci-Fi and Comic Experience Saturday, April 30th, and I got asked to be a featured cosplayer at the Monster Expo, which is fortunately is the same weekend. So I'm just going Sunday to that, and I actually was talking to the main people. You're going Saturday. Too much stuff was going on that weekend, and they wanted me to come and tape it, and I just couldn't because I'm already busy all day Saturday and all day Sunday at two different events that are still 2 hours from where I am.
Yeah.
But Pallbearer, this is the first time I've been Pallbearer in 10 months. because there was a little weekend that the
Mm-hmm.
masks weren't allowed in Connecticut, so you
Yeah.
didn't have to wear a mask at Terrificon last year. And
Mm-hmm.
like a few weeks before Terrificon, you had to wear a mask, and then a few weeks after
Mm-hmm.
Terrificon, you had to wear a mask at Mohegan Sun, where the convention
Mm-hmm.
is. So I
Right.
was there as Pallbearer, and
Mm-hmm.
I was basically melted.
Right.
It was so hot, I melted. I get some new waterproof
Mm-hmm.
makeup I'm going to be trying,
Yeah.
and I love to be Paul
Yeah.
because this is a crazy, weird character
Mm-hmm.
that people expect crazy and weird.
Right.
And so I could definitely be someone completely different to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that about cosplay? You could be completely different to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get a little more relaxed, I think, than I would if I was just myself.
Yeah, because
Um,
yourself, you could be
yeah.
hard on yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
very
know
hard on
this.
myself.
I've said that about some of your posts in the
Yeah.
past. Don't be
Yeah.
so hard on yourself.
Yeah, I'm getting better. I mean, weekends like this past weekend really helped me. Helped me become a little more comfortable with what I'm doing.
Because you called me right after and said, "Okay, I'll be on if that
Yeah.
offer's still open." I said,
Yeah.
"Sure,
Yeah.
sure it
It,
is."
it was a really good experience that I think really brought me back to where I needed to be. So
Good, good, because you were worrying that you couldn't go to cons this year because it
yeah,
was on your Saturday of working. But now I see all these cons you're going to is on a Saturday, so you must have done something.
I'm doing stuff to make them work.
Okay, good, good. What are you looking forward to besides? I know you're going up to main cosplay.
I'm going to Anime Boston the end of May.
That's right, Memorial Day weekend, right?
Yeah, yes, I think so. It's the last weekend. Yeah, the last weekend of May. That's what I know.
Yeah, Rebecca and I think a bunch of her friends are going to Ragdoll Murder are going to
Yeah.
MegaCon. I think
Mm-hmm.
I've been threatening to go to AwesomeCon in Washington D.C. the week after that and do cosplay and do filming. It'd be my first time I've actually traveled by plane to go do this. So
That I've never
maybe
done.
that'll happen. Maybe that won't happen. I now have a girlfriend, so I think we're maybe going away once or twice in the next month or so. So, that's going to take precedent over cosplay life.
Right.
And this and Carnival of Cosplay because I want to continue having a girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm sure no one in our community would argue against that. They'd be like,
yes.
"Yep, go right ahead."
She knows what I do. She's seen videos. She thinks it's really wild, all these costumes and stuff. Yeah. I mean, my dating profile is filled with all my cosplay photos to try to get the normal people, straight people, like saying, "Don't swipe left, swipe left."
Right.
Because I mean, if it's going to bother you that I wear these costumes or something, then I'd never want to meet you in the first place.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to ever be with someone. I don't want to meet you,
and then a month later you say, "I don't like you doing that." It's like, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. So that cosplay that we talked about last night, I ordered things for today.
Oh, nice.
Custom made to my size from India. So we'll see about that arriving sometime soon. It's going to be like 2 weeks probably to get here from India. So it's being shipped FedEx. So what else this summer are you going to be at?
I'm definitely going to PortCon in Portland.
Yes.
The end of June. I'm definitely going to Pop Cult at the end of August. I'll probably go to Fan Expo. May go to Kineticon. I don't know. It's a little bit of a drive, so
I've been there once.
mm-hmm.
I went to see a mutual friend, Katrina, there years ago, and I could go there. I usually go to Terrificon.
Yeah,
because
I haven't decided on that one.
I like
yet.
gambling, and it's at a casino, so that's a good reason for me to go there.
I'm definitely going to go to Granite Con in the fall.
Yes, 3 days. 3 days.
Yes.
I had
that one's always a yes for me.
I had Scott on the fearless leader of Granite Con until midnight on a special video from Wicked talking about all the things they were doing for Granite Con.
Yeah, that one's always exciting. That one's always fun. It's right here at home in the state, so.
Yes, it's 18 miles from my house. David Tennant's supposed to be Fan X.
Yes, I did hear that.
And so I think my wrestling right there, my wrestling cosplay, because that character was in the last 2 episodes of David Tennant's tenure in Doctor Who. And that was kind of expensive. I had that made and hand painted, Owen Gallifreyan. So I think it was coming out of retirement, and it's coming out the mannequin. And last year I met John Bowerman. I think this year I'm going to meet David Tennant at Fan Expo if he makes it, because they're always subject to change,
right?
And so we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Peter Capaldi was even. I was liked him even more, and he played Fan Expo and he played Doctor Who Con the year after I played both of them.
Of course.
I was a guest the year before. And so I didn't get to meet him because something else was going on.
Right.
But Tennant, I like Tennant. I like Matt Smith. I like Jodie, but I don't like Jodie's material, the 13 material. She's got one more episode, and then we're Russell Davies, the guy who rebooted Doctor Who with David Tennant and the other guy before him, the balding guy, the leather jacket guy.
I can't think of his name.
Number 9. It's 9 or 10.
It's one of them. I can't remember his name though.
Maybe it is. I think it is 10 because I've met 9. I've met 9. There's a picture of me with 9. So I met him at one of the Doctor Who cons. I did. I don't do Doctor Who cons anymore. I did not like the environment at both the Doctor Who cons. I love that. So I've given up on Doctor Who cons. But in any case, we've talked about what you're looking forward to this summer, plans, some places that people could go and see you if they come to the event that in the future. Please let me know about the event in Maine this weekend, because
definitely.
I had interest in. We were talking about bringing my show there, and then they had to. I think they overspent and had to cut back on some things. And then they wanted me to come and do some videotaping there, but I was busy.
Right.
So, and it looks like Bangor Comic Con has just announced that they're calling last weekend that they're now coming to Portland. So another challenge to the Portland area.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell anybody about anything?
Just don't think that you have to have all sorts of skills to get into cosplay. I mean,
I could do it.
Walking, talking example. I started with nothing, and I found the majority of the community is very helpful, willing to teach different things to you if you want to learn them. I mean, even then, a lot of people just have fun in store-bought costumes. I have a weird body shape, so they don't always work the best for me. But, when I do personally want to learn other techniques, so I'm slowly learning other techniques. Everyone's very welcoming for the most part, too. There's always, like in any community, there are toxic people, but they're few and far between, I think.
Everybody knows who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
word gets around pretty quickly.
Yeah, people will warn you if you're getting there. So I'd say if you're interested in it, want to try, give it a try. Start. If start small. Don't jump into something big right away. Talk to people. I mean, most of the people in the community, even if you message them online, will be willing to help you and give you advice. Maybe you can show them what you've got, and they might have some suggestions that might help you based off of what you want to do.
It's easier to meet cosplayers than almost any other group of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I just walk up to people and ask them to interview them, and only one person out of maybe several hundred has said, no, I don't want to be on. They all are nice, and they, fantastic people for the most part. And it's a good community to be in.
It's a fun community.
Yes.
Very diverse.
Sometimes I get imposter syndrome and don't feel like I'm part of the community, but I'm trying.
We all get that occasionally.
I mean, I host a show who has 10 episodes. Hey.
Yeah, I can't claim that imposter syndrome anymore.
Well, I did try to get 3 of the people to host this show, so they all said no, so I had to do it myself. When I stopped doing the Carnival horror stuff, which maybe will come back.
Yeah, we'll see. To be determined.
Well, I'm talking to the Countess daily.
Good.
Now. And maybe someday the Countess and Igor will show up.
Good.
Meantime, there's 40 videos of the Countess and Igor on this channel you can see too. Okay, I guess we're going to end it then. You stay where you are. I'll end it. They'll play the outgoing thing, and then we can talk.
Okay.